What's going on, everybody? Welcome here to the second week here of the football threesome. Name brought to you by Chris. Today, our topic of discussion is one that hits very closely to Mr. Flanders here because he is an Atlanta Falcons fan. So, I know, look at us. We went from a whiteboard to a projector with something relevant to what we're talking about in the back.
We're professional now.
We're professional.
Get us on Spotify. Get us on Apple Podcasts.
The professional football threesome.
Wouldn't we just have to do that ourselves?
They have to come to us.
Okay. Pause. So, Dylan will obviously get us kicked off, and we'll kind of segue from there. So, how do you feel?
As a Falcons fan right now, it's pretty sad. Going into this game all throughout the offseason, kind of like I talked about in last week's video, this team has so much hype. We went out and got our quarterback that we needed because we've had these offensive weapons for so long, in Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts. And we finally got our quarterback. We got a new head coach, a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. This is going to be a completely whole new season. And I'm not going to lie, I think Desmond Ridder probably could have put on the performance that Kirk Cousins put on last Sunday. He might have had one more turnover, a fumble in the game.
It's got to be a fumble.
But the performance that we got from Kirk Cousins on Sunday was a Desmond Ridder performance. Nothing looked any different except Kyle Pitts actually scored a touchdown. And for me, it's just kind of depressing. And I think one big takeaway I have from it is I don't think we took the preseason too seriously. We never played Kirk Cousins, who was coming off of a crazy injury, and we were like, no, we'll just throw him into a regular season game, week one, against arguably a top 5 defense that year in and year out, as long as Mike Tomlin is there, is going to be a solid team, and especially with their defense. They're going to get after the quarterback, and it just looks like we weren't prepared. And another thing is Kirk Cousins doesn't look healthy at all. He was lined up in pistol almost the whole game. We didn't run a play-action play because he can't. He literally can't run a play-action play. And if that's the situation, he just shouldn't be playing. And I know we spent so much money on him, but we have to wait until he's healthy. We went out and we drafted a quarterback with the 8th pick in this last year's draft. And obviously we love him so much because he played one drive in the preseason, or a couple drives in the preseason, and that was it.
We've seen enough.
Yeah, we've seen enough. He was good enough. So
he looked good.
So yeah, if he's that good, then let's just play our backup quarterback. And it's sad to say, but I actually think that they're not doing this because I think that if we were to play Michael Penix, us as an organization would get clowned really hard because we went out and we just spent $180 million on a quarterback for 4 years that is coming off an ACL injury. And if we play Michael Penix and he's good, so good that we don't want to play Kirk Cousins, that's a very bad look at our franchise. But as a fan, it's I just want the best for this team to win, And if we had to throw Michael Penix in there, so be it. You know what I'm saying?
Who's QB 3?
3 is, oh my God, I don't even know because we traded Heineke, so I think we have some bum. That's all I know.
Here's a discussion question here. So your team goes out, they get 2 franchise quarterbacks, right? Week 1 comes, Kirk Cousins is too hurt, Michael Penix is too raw. Your team enters week 1 starting Nathan Rourke at quarterback. What are your thoughts?
Is that who it is?
No. Nathan Rourke got cut.
Because he's tearing it up.
Okay. Oh yeah. You're right.
We're not going to linger on this because this isn't really a discussion, but Nathan Rourke is the greatest of all time, so I don't know why he got cut, but
If I'm being honest, he could have won this game.
But maybe. But I'm a Falcons fan. I may be overreacting right now, but I watched that whole game. Kirk Cousins does not look ready at all. He can't move, so that limits our offense exceptionally. It's just you won't be able to go out there and win an NFL game with a quarterback that can't move out the pocket, from anywhere outside the pocket. And another thing with he's being hurt is he has no velocity in his balls right now. Pause. Yeah, when I heard it in my head, but he has no velocity in his balls. He can't throw with power, and it's just we're not going to win games like that. So we had the Eagles this upcoming week and the Chiefs after that. We're possibly looking at an 0-3 start, which would be very, very sad as a Falcons fan. And, if Kirk Cousins doesn't look ready in those games, I think you need to have a serious discussion about throwing Michael Penix in. And, I know, we talk about rookie quarterbacks and, you want to give them time and they're fresh. But, this is a quarterback who's already 25 years old. He's been through a lot. And I think it's different from, a Drake May situation where I think if you threw Michael Penix in, it would be a lot easier than if you threw a raw quarterback like Drake May in, And, I know you guys didn't watch the full game, but, your thoughts on Kirk Cousins or...
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts on Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. I know you.
Vikings fan.
Yeah.
Vikings fan. Pastronaut. Shout out to Josh Dobbs. But okay, here, kind of just going off a little bit. I think the thing is too is like, how early did Atlanta identify Michael Penix as like the franchise guy? Because here's the thing: if you're gonna take a guy in the top 10, he has the talent, or at least they feel that way, even if other people don't. And so like, you know, we've seen Bo Nix out there, we've seen Caleb Williams out there, we've seen Jaden Daniels out there. He is capable of going out there. This wasn't a quarterback where like, oh, this is a project guy. No, with Michael Penix's age and his 5 years of experience from Indiana to Washington, he should be able to go out there and play. And I think the thing is, too, is like with Kirk Cousins, you knew he was coming off the injury. You knew it happened in midseason. He wasn't going to be 100%. And I think it was a good contingency plan, but the fact that they're not using Michael Penix in this situation, I think, is a little conflicting. And that's what concerns me, because I'm a huge believer in like the structure of the team, and the guys at the top, I mean, ultimately dictate, you know, what happens on the field. They're the ones who put the guys on the field, who pay certain guys to play certain games. And it just doesn't seem like the plan was ever really clear, or maybe they just went a different direction from what they intentionally thought they were going to do. That's why this whole thing is confusing, and it's like we kind of need those answers, because I wouldn't say the Michael Penix pick was impulsive, but it felt that way. It felt like this wasn't the intention from the period of free agency up until now. But in terms of Kirk Cousins, right, and I understand that you want to play him because, like you said, if you don't, it looks bad. You pay this guy a ton of money. On top of that, you picked a quarterback in the top 10 behind his back. He pretty much needs to play. But, I mean, the chance of re-injuring his leg at this stage in his career. And the thing is, too, is like, I mean, this is like anything, right? Like, you're not gonna go into your mansion and live there without the furniture, and you're not gonna drive a fancy car before all of its parts are in place. Like, this thing could seriously fall apart really quickly if you're not, I mean, right? It's like with anything expensive, you're not gonna use it prematurely. So that's why I think this thing is so interesting. And then on top of that, your O-line sucks. It's dog ass. I mean, you put it up against T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith, and the tackles who, I mean, essentially are the most important people in this entire game, this front five, because you need this guy to stay upright. Hence why they don't roll him out, keep him isolated out in the open field, and then, I mean, you keep him in the pocket and he needs to be upright. And this dude was on the ground more than any other quarterback this past Sunday, which I think hindered his performance. But, I mean, the scheme was not in his favor. His own guys blocking for him were not in his favor. I know that's only so much in their control when you have T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith on the opposite end. But I just feel like this is all the mismanagement that people were assuming about the general manager for your guys' team. I can't come up with his name right now, but it's really showing.
Terry Fontenot.
Terry Fontenot, yeah. And it's reflecting in this game early on. I don't think the season's over by any means.
No.
But there just doesn't seem to be a plan in place. And that's what's concerning to me.
Before we're gonna talk, it's like I'm curious on like, because there's no way we just sent Kirk Cousins out there and we're like, oh, he can't move. Like, we had to have known. And it's like I'm just curious.
That's what training camp is.
Yeah, and I'm just curious like how early we were like, oh, like he's obviously not ready. Like, like we're not just gonna be able to send him out there against the Steelers defense, especially T.J. Watt, which we'll talk about him later, but. You can't just throw him out there when he's not ready. It's just, I'm just curious on when they knew he's obviously not ready to play football. Mm-hmm. And like I said, yes, it makes our organization look dumb if we throw out Michael Penix. But do you think when Brock Purdy went in for Trey Lance that the 49ers was like, oh, we're gonna look so dumb? Like, no, that worked out, and I know that's a little bit different situation, but They messed up on that Trey Lance pick. Like that was a mess up. But no one cares about it now because Brock Purdy is good. Yeah. So it's like, as a fan, I do want Kirk Cousins to succeed because we put so much money into him. But I mean, if Penix can come in and play good, okay, bye Kirk.
Well, I see. I think the thing is too is you either, and I understand this approach where it's you either are gonna mess up the health of your aging veteran quarterback or you mess up the development of your future franchise quarterback. So I understand that and that. But the issue is you don't win in either of those situations. No. So you basically set yourself up to lose in the image of the NFL fans.
Well.
That's why this whole thing is like, I mean, whichever way you're looking at it from, you can't win. And they didn't win on Sunday.
Yeah. That's a little connection between the Falcons and the Seahawks, too, with their situation. Like, the Seahawks signed Matt Flynn as a free agent. They paid him big money, and then they drafted Russell Wilson as a surprise that year. And they never played Matt Flynn because they liked so much of Russell Wilson in training camp.
But the thing with Russell Wilson is that he was a third-round pick. Right?
That's even crazier.
Yeah,
That's true.
And obviously it panned out, great choice for the organization, but like no one was like, oh, Michael Penix went 8th. Like, oh, he's not talented enough. No one was saying that because we all know Michael Penix has amazing talent. It's like, oh, the team that just signed a quarterback to a 4-year, $180 million deal, they're going to invest this pick into that quarterback. It was like, oh, what are they doing? Like, what do they got here? And, I understand, people will look at it and go, like, oh, look at the Packers did with Jordan Love. Well, he was also learning under Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers was already in Green Bay for a long time. Like, they're completely different situations. And, yeah, I hope Michael Penix can sit for a while and, learn from Kirk Cousins and get better. But
is Penix older than Jordan Love?
Oh, that's a good question.
Jordan Love,
I'm
is he 24? Because I think Penix is 25. So
yeah, that's.
And that's another thing. That's a different situation. Jordan Love was a really, really raw prospect. Like, he had a lot to learn, and you can tell by the way he plays. He learned a lot from Aaron Rodgers. He's a lot of Aaron Rodgers mannerisms. But Michael Penix, like, this is a quarterback. Like I said, like, he's already 25. He was in college for a long time. Like, this is a quarterback that I think you could throw in a couple weeks in, and that would be okay. Like, unlike a quarterback like Drake May, So, yeah, it's very interesting. But I mean, do you have any other thoughts?
I feel like if the coaching staff really believed in Michael Penix and they knew that Kirk Cousins wasn't ready, they should have played Penix. Because Kirk looked bad, and on top of that, I mean, of course, he didn't look ready, but the pass protect scheme was so bad. I mean, every snap I saw Kirk Cousins take, I never saw T.J. Watt doubled.
Yep.
And your boy right tackle was getting murdered out there.
Caleb McGarry is trash. He's trash, but but that's not the biggest issue. We have Kyle Pitts trying to chip block T.J. Watt. Like, that's our protection. Like, first off, why would you put a chip block on T.J. Watt? Double him every single play. Like, what are we doing? And second of all, Kyle Pitts, like, he does not know how to block. He is not a blocking tight end. He wasn't drafted to block. And talking about Kyle Pitts, he had his touchdown, but sometimes when he's out there and when he's asked to block, like, he doesn't really give a lot of effort, and that's very concerning. And we still have a lot of season to go, but we're really into Kyle Pitts' career where, like, we can kind of label this pick as, like, I would definitely in the terms of a bust because, he was taken so high. But, that is something that Kyle Pitts,
Like, I'm not saying it as an excuse, right? Because Kyle Pitts, every NFL player should go out there and give it their 110% no matter what.
No.
But you play 3 years. You're such a highly touted prospect coming out of college, and you get, like, no targets ever, or you get out-schemed by, like, your third-string tight end when you're blocking for, like, some weirdo on a jet sweep.
Yeah.
I can understand why he's not giving it.
No, but I think part of it is that in the NFL, which is why I was so just, like, I was hesitant on the whole Kyle Pitts thing, and I wasn't really on board the hype as much as other people because you need to block in the NFL as a tight end. You can get away with it in college, but blocking is so essential to that position that if you can't do it, you won't see the field. And I think that's exactly what's happening with Kyle Pitts. I think when you look at the best tight ends in the league, Kelsey is a proficient blocker. I think Kittle is probably the most efficient one. And then I know Andrews recently.
Laporta's a great blocker.
Right? All of these guys can block, and, like, I think their receiving attributes are just an extra add-on to that, which is what separates them and gives them notoriety over other tight ends in the league. But I think that's a huge thing because his biggest, pro, I guess you could say, that people liked about him coming into the draft was that he was like a wide receiver. He had that dynamic mismatch ability. But I talked about this with Dylan, previously because, I mean, how long has it been since Kyle Pitts got drafted? Again, close to home again here with Minnesota for me, we drafted Irv Smith, who kind of provided a similar skill set. Another guy from Alabama, O.J. Howard from Tampa Bay. None of these guys work out. They never work out. And I think part of it is the fact that they are just not proficient blockers. I think it's so important. It's so important.
It's like, if you're not gonna have him as, like, a main blocker or whatever, you're just gonna have him chip blocking. Just put him on the outside.
Put him in the slot.
I mean, he's already put him in the slot. He's already we drafted him at 4 because he was a mismatch. Yeah. And it's like, I like you said, I do feel bad for Kyle Pitts. I feel like his career, he was brought into the league with a washed Matt Ryan, actually able to put up 1,000 yards. So we know the talent is there, and then from there it's been quarterback hell for him. So I mean even with Drake London, I still really believe in Drake London, and obviously on Sunday they didn't show. And if you watch the whole game, he barely got the ball thrown to him. Like Kirk Cousins just doesn't have enough. Drake London is a play action. He's a play action receiver. You know what I'm saying? You roll out, you throw it up to Drake London. You know what I'm saying? That's what he is. And I mean, we couldn't do that on Sunday. You know, we had no time. Our O-line was just getting destroyed. And yeah, Drake London is another person I feel bad for on the Falcons that I just don't think he's getting the opportunity that if he was given it, he would showcase his skills. You know,
it's hard to label these players as busts when they get no targets a game.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you kind of have to label Kyle Pitts as a bust, but like I genuinely think that if he was on a team with, you know, a good quarterback that would give him the ball, like I truly think that he could put up numbers like a Laporta, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So yeah,
I don't mean to crap on your team so much, but the biggest mismatch for Kyle Pitts is the team that he's been on. That's the biggest
quarterbacks. His quarterback situations.
Quarterback situation is one thing too. I have a hard time what offense could you put him in where he's going to be successful? Because I think someone else who started similar skill set, who started off their career really good and they kind of fizzled out over time, Mike Gesicki, and he has a hard time getting on the field as well.
I know he didn't have a touchdown this weekend, but that touchdown that got called back was an insane catch by Mike Gesicki.
No, but that's the thing too. Mike Gesicki, regardless of where he was drafted, talented guy too, and I think we can all agree that similar skill set that they bring to the field, right? That's why I think it's difficult because I don't know what offense he would succeed in, and then going to Drake London too. This is the thing, and Fondon. How long has he been there as a GM?
I think it's been 4 years now, and you know.
Right. But see, that's the thing too. The direction. We haven't seen any progress. That's the thing too. You bring in your OC who's from the Rams, right? That's an offense that you know is gonna just run the heck out of the football. They're gonna use play action, which I mean, for some reason, those things were not there.
Because Kirk Cousins can't.
No. I understand, but you want to see it more often. We'll see it down the road, but I think even just running the ball too. I know that they don't want to go so power heavy, but and then Drake London. Drake London is a go ball 50-50 type receiver when this offense is primarily reliant on just run after the catch, finding separations, finding soft spots in the zone. That's not Drake London's game at all.
Yeah.
He would fit something more like Cincinnati's offense.
Yeah, imagine
they give their receivers opportunities vertically down the field.
If you had an Allen, just throw it up. You know?
That's what I'm saying.
Josh Allen, but
there's a lot of things where it's everyone's skill set doesn't match what is needed. And who's running pistol in the NFL?
No one.
Where is that even coming from?
Yeah, exactly. But we have to because our quarterback can't move. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this earlier. You know, with Terry Fontenay, and you brought up that how in recent drafts, I wouldn't say London, for example, but we had these players that were hyped up before the draft, and it felt like they always landed on my team. Mm-hmm. His first round pick, Kyle Pitts, this generational talent, the best tight end prospect we've ever seen, goes to the Falcons. Mm-hmm. Bijan Robinson, 2 years later, this amazing running back prospect who, is an amazing running back prospect, but no one really had him going that high. Falcons take him at 8. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Dallas Turner.
Yeah, and then this year, Michael Penix at 8, which was probably the wildest pick in the whole draft, not because he's a bad player, but because, the situation. It's just I just feel like with my team, they draft behind the hype, which is it'll make the fans happy. When we drafted Bijan and Kyle, oh my God, those are amazing prospects. They're gonna do so good on our team. But it's sometimes you just can't draft behind the hype. I think Michael Penix will probably be a good quarterback, and I hope he is. You know what I'm saying? But was he really our biggest need? No. Maybe an offensive line prospect. You know what I'm saying? As we can see, we have Caleb McGarry at right guard. He's trash. So. Yeah.
And honestly, I would say I don't know if this is a Fondon pick. But I would say Chris Lindstrom is probably the best pick that you guys have had, and that is the least flashiest of them all.
He was.
You did the right thing that year.
I mean, even AJ Terrell, people didn't really like that pick when it happened. Yep. And, AJ Terrell did not play that well on Sunday. We can get into that too. But I mean, AJ Terrell has turned out to be our best corner. We just signed him to a huge extension, and he's going to be here for a while. So,
I don't think we're not saying go against the hype. That's not what we're saying. But it's when your perception of these players is so, I guess, clouded by just the general public,
just the name value,
conception of these guys, then that's what happens.
It's like and like the thing with the Bijan, I love the Bijan pick. We use Bijan so much on Sunday, and we need to continue to do that because when he has the ball in his hand, he is a playmaker. But then you get into this thing where like, oh, are we getting Drake London the ball? Are we getting Kyle Pitts the ball? And that's the problem when you keep drafting these skill position players year after year, and they have so much high expectations on them. Like you can't give all of them the ball so much. You know what I'm saying? Like we gave Bijan the ball a lot. Tyler Algier ran the ball twice on Sunday. And, we're giving Bijan, we probably threw like 5 screen passes to Bijan, and maybe we did that because I learned maybe Kirk Cousins, is limited, so screen passes are there. But, I mean, I just, like Graydon said, I don't really see a direction with this franchise right now. This Kirk Cousins signing was obviously just a signing because we couldn't get a quarterback. And, we weren't drafting any quarterbacks until after we, signed to do a huge contract, and then we drafted a quarterback. But, yeah, the direction of this franchise is just really, really clouded. And it was really disappointing because, I mean, you can hear last video, I had a lot of high expectations for this team this season. I really thought that we were going to win like pretty easily this Sunday. And obviously playing the Chiefs and the Eagles, like I don't expect to win those games. But I mean, like going into these games now, like I'm scared we're just going to embarrass ourselves on national television. Before I was like, I think we can give these teams a game. But I mean, I think the Eagles will probably destroy us on Monday night now. I mean, our quarterback is limited, so it's like.
You were going to say something?
Yeah, they're probably going to get destroyed.
It's very sad. Like, this team can easily start 0-3, and then that's where you kind of hit the panic button, and you're like, this season isn't panning out to what we all thought it was going to be. And moving away from the offense now to the defense, our defense played very well.
Yeah.
I do think our 2 signings panned out. Matthew Judon had a sack, and Justin Simmons, held his own. I feel bad for our defense. This is going to be like last season. I feel like it's going to be like last season where our defense is just going to give our offense chance after chance after chance, and we're just not going to be able to take advantage of that. And one person I genuinely feel bad for is Grady Jarrett. We are wasting his prime years right now. By the way, it's not talked about enough. He came back from an ACL injury.
Right.
He's hands down the best player on our defense on Sunday. Like he's actually a monster. No one talks about him. Probably one of the most underrated defensive tackles in the league. And like you said, like we're probably going to waste his Justin Simmons signing because he's on a 1-year deal, and I don't really expect him to come back. Matthew Judon, we'll see what happens with him. But I mean, I think our defense held their own, and sad.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of other things that we can talk about. One thing, Kay, since you were on that as well, which if you guys do end up being a bottom team again, you're going to just draft the hyped up player again. So I hate to break that to you.
Exactly.
The endless cycle continues.
Back.
But here's the thing. Like I think, and I'm just emphasizing this for people who don't put as much of an emphasis on what I'm about to say. But when I was talking about just like how like your leadership, and that trickles down from ownership to your management, down to your coaches, down to your players. The people at the top dictate the entire thing, whether you believe that or not. And these decisions are just so important, and that's why I keep bringing up the fact that it just feels so directionless. That's why I'm most concerned. I'm not concerned about any of the talent that's on the field. I don't think any of you guys are too. I think that's fine. I think you can win with a roster like this. You should be winning with a roster like this, but I think when the plan is just as unorganized or as unclear as it is, even to the general public, that is of concern. And I think, and I'm going to bring up an example here, and this is an extreme example. Atlanta's not this bad, but it's within the division. It's Carolina. Like, Carolina's ownership, it interferes so much with whatever they're trying to do that the management has, and the coaching staff really has limited say into what gets done. And look at the results of that. So I'm not saying that ownership is the problem here in Atlanta, but what I'm saying is like where we stand now is like the management here in Atlanta is kind of just affecting everything else that's below it, just because I don't even know if they're really sure what exactly they're doing. And maybe we're hitting the panic button a little too soon, but I do feel like, right, once you get your guy in the building, which initially for them was Desmond Ridder, that's when things really start to turn around. Because, I mean, really, the quarterback position is kind of when you kind of say, like, okay, yeah, this is now our team. You inherit Matt Ryan, but that's not your guy. You bring in your guy. That was a big mistake. And it's just like, I don't know if they know what they're doing at the quarterback position. They've exercised everything. They've drafted the quarterback in the middle of the round. They spent money on a free agent quarterback, and now they spent a top 10 pick on a quarterback. It's like, this feels like a guy who's worried about his job security and it's really reflecting in the moves that he's making. But I just want to make that an emphasis because I think a lot of people just say like, oh, the players are just not performing. Sometimes it's the coaching staff. Sometimes it's like the guys that you're bringing in just does not make sense. It's not compatible with whatever you have envisioned in your mind. So I think leadership is a huge issue that some teams still haven't been able to figure out. I think they understand the importance of it, but they don't have the right people in the building to be making those type of decisions. Not like it's easy to identify those type of people, but again, you can see how it does eventually carry on to the field, even though you don't see its direct impact because the players are playing. But yeah.
All right, I guess we can switch our view a little bit to the other team in this game.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson was slated to be the starter, had a calf injury because he's old and senile. Justin Fields takes the reins today. How did you guys view his performance?
Justin Fields he did exactly what he needed to do, just not turn over the ball.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why the Falcons lost the game. The turnover differential was 3-0, and it's just I don't think Justin Fields played exceptionally well. I just think he did exactly what he needed to do. I mean, when his best. We know this. Justin Fields plays best when he's rolling out, because he has amazing arm talent. Either he can run the ball, like I said, he has amazing arm talent, so he can throw the ball essentially far. And he did exactly that. I mean, we lost to an Arthur Smith game plan where they run the ball.
Yeah, that is insane, by the way.
Yeah. Where they run the ball, and all they needed was field goals to win this game. Chris Boswell legacy game, 5 field goals, 3 of them from 6 field goals, 3 of them from 50 plus.
Yeah. And a punt.
And a punt. Yeah. We ended that guy's. We ended the punter season, but
Cameron Johnston, man.
Yeah, I know, but bottom line, I think Justin Fields was okay. I mean, there's nothing really to take away from this game that.
I mean, he went and led the team to 6 scoring drives. I mean, what can you ask for him?
6 scoring drives.
Yeah, when 3 of them were the drives were started at the 50-yard line because he turned over the ball.
He had 150 something in the air, 50 something on the ground. I mean, 200 yards with a defense like the Steelers. Eventually, you'll expect some touchdowns from him.
That's what I said. He did exactly what he needed to do. Like the Steelers' defense is crazy. Like, just score more than like I said, like 15 points, and you'll probably win because that's how good the Steelers' defense is. So,
Steelers' defense was great. With Arthur Smith at the helm, I'm surprised they didn't run like a Vance McDonald jet sweep or something like that.
Vance McDonald jet sweep. Okay, yeah. Two things I want to point out here. Justin Fields. Look, there's certain guys in the league where it's like, oh, damn, like maybe they're not in the right system. Maybe they do need another opportunity. I think a great example of that is Baker Mayfield, right? I think everyone knew how talented Baker was. Sam Darnold's another good one as well. But we have to wait and see. It was one game. But what I'm saying is, like, you can tell when guys still have the talent, and it's like, okay, like, if you put enough support around these guys, they can do something. I think with Justin Fields, yes, maybe the support system wasn't quite there, but I think we could all see that there were a lot of things on his shoulders that made it so that it was clear that, maybe Justin Fields' time as a starting quarterback should be over. And it still should be over, granted, if Russell Wilson stayed healthy, he would still be the backup. But I think this is it for him, and I think this game pretty much put on display. Atlanta's defense is good. We won't disregard that. But, I mean, like, you're looking at a Justin Fields game. They scored 6 field goals, right? 3 from long distance, as you mentioned. And it was a win for Justin Fields, not literally because they won, but because he didn't turn over the ball, right? And I think just like, and this is no disrespect to Justin Fields because mentally, majority of us cannot make it onto the field simply because of our mental aspect, like the capacity that it takes to be a quarterback. But I think mentally, that's what's holding him back. There's not a deficiency in arm talent. There's not a deficiency in just pure athleticism. He just doesn't process quickly enough, and it shows, which is why there's a high sack total when he's under center, and why his completion percentage is really low. But again, like the fact that he didn't turn over the ball is probably the biggest reason why they won. And I don't know if this is the best system for him, but I do know that Arthur Smith, purely just responsible as the offensive coordinator, not the head coach, can put together a pretty good offense. I like the way that they ran the ball this weekend. They have 2 really good running backs. 3 if you want to count Cordero Patterson in that conversation.
Why was he getting the ball?
I don't know why.
Why was he getting the ball?
I don't know why he was getting the ball.
But that happened in Atlanta. Like Arthur Smith just likes Cordero Patterson. He likes getting him the ball.
Yeah,
so.
I don't.
Warren did not get the ball that much.
He didn't get
really surprising.
But Harris should be getting more of the carries.
Harris actually looked really good. He actually looked good on.
Because Warren's one of those guys where I think he's like like a Tony Pollard,
You change of pace.
like an Alexander Madison.
Yeah.
Yes, they're your change of pace backs, but once you make them the primary guy, I don't think they can carry the load that you expect.
Pollard had a good week.
No, he had a good week, but what I'm saying is like when he took over for Zeke in Dallas, there was a
You can tell he's
very
not-
and
obvious
now
drop off. It's like
Who's still on the Cowboys? Zeke's still
who's
on the Cowboys.
back on the
Deuce Vaughn.
Cowboys, but
Rico
Dowdle.
Rico down.
Dowdle.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the fact that he didn't turn over the ball is good. I mean, carrying on to another discussion, I think he probably still should be the starter because I don't think he didn't do anything that said he should stay on there, but he didn't do anything that said that you should take him off.
Here, I have one word for Justin Fields' performance yesterday, Sunday. Uninspiring.
It
No,
was.
It's like the same Justin Fields that
It
we've
is,
seen
yeah.
before.
That's what I'm saying.
Without the turnovers. But I think if you're looking forward, maybe right now, Russell Wilson's your guy. Statistically, he had a good last year. But he's not as dynamic as Justin Fields can be. I mean, you can plan some very insane plays with Justin Fields because he's so fast. He's got great arm talent. And I think if you look at the two quarterbacks, there's one that you can really move forward with in your future. I mean, Justin Fields could be a franchise guy.
You think so?
I
See,
think-
I don't think so. I'm
No,
done. I'm done.
No, I think when you look at how he is as a player, like his athleticism, his arm talent,
Yeah.
like it should be obvious who your franchise quarterback is. But like you said, he just can't process stuff
Why-
at an NFL
okay.
level. So it's like,
I mean, if we're speaking one or the other, sure, but I don't think there is a franchise quarterback on this team.
No, I don't think there is either.
I'm done on Justin Fields.
No,
like,
yeah.
like if I'm the Steelers, I don't want to see him anymore.
No, yeah,
because what he's shown in his four years in Chicago and his one game here in Pittsburgh. I mean, what was the peak Justin Fields performance? I can't even name it to you.
Oh no, it was definitely last. I think it was Thursday Night Football when they versus the Washington, and like DJ Moore had like 4 touchdowns in the game or something.
Wow.
Or-
Washington.
Yeah.
Washington.
No, yeah, but that's the point. Like,
NFL historian.
yeah, that's the point. It's like it's Justin Fields' time is over. I mean, with the way the Falcons' offense played last game, there shouldn't even have been like a chance at a game-winning drive for the Falcons. Like, you gotta against like a competent team, you gotta convert those drives into touchdowns. Like, you can't settle for 6 field goals a game. Against the Falcons, you can because their franchise is sad. But
Again,
yeah.
You maybe can blame this on scheme again.
Oh, yeah.
Like his
Justin
health
Fields.
around Justin Fields is not the greatest. I think his offensive line is pretty decent. George Pickens is a good first receiving option. But everything behind that, it kind of just falls off. And I think it's going to be a very run-heavy offense, especially with Arthur Smith
It
there.
should be.
I think Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, you're going to get a very similar output. Except Justin Fields can take those read options for 90 yards and a touchdown.
let's talk about really good players. Let's go over to the defense. This was the first time that I got to watch like T.J. Watt in like a full game, and
Really?
I gave Micah Parsons my Defensive Player of the Year pick, and I'll still stand on that. But T.J. Watt is probably the best defensive player in the league.
You know
right
why
now.
I glaze him so much?
Yeah, no, like
He's out there.
usually
man.
I just look at his stats, and I see highlights, and when I watch primetime games and they're on there. But I got to watch like a full T.J. Watt game, and he only had 1 sack and 1 fumble recovery, but he should have had 3 sacks and 3 fumble recoveries because 2 of them got taken away from penalties. And I mean, that is just a guy that can literally switch the game. Like switch the game. I mean, like we got the ball back. We were up 10-9. We were driving, and he never really should have had this opportunity, but he ended up getting a fumble recovery because we botched the snap. And just having players like that can literally switch the game for you. And I mean, yeah, he's insane. And like we said earlier, you can't be putting one offensive lineman on him or putting a tight end on the chip block. Or there were instances where our running back was
Yeah, I just mentioned to Braden before the recording of this. I mean, Justin Hill blocked Chris Jones better than McGarry was on T.J. Watt.
Literally. So, yeah, and that's the guy we paid. But I mean, we can talk about the whole Steelers defense. Alex Highsmith is great. Micah, but yeah, T.J. Watt, man, he's insane.
Well, again, the Steelers' defense is going to be the thing that's going to carry the season. If
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin miraculously goes 9-8 again, or
Which will probably
8-1,
happen.
it's going to be because of
8-9,
the
yeah,
defense. But again, like that's why I think Justin Fields, for the time being, should remain in there until he literally loses a game for them. Because as long as he doesn't turn over the ball like he did, like he can throw for 150 yards again, no touchdowns, rushing or passing. As long as he doesn't turn over the ball, I
He'll
mean,
probably remain the starter.
this team can win games just like we saw.
I mean, yeah, with Kenny Pickett, I mean, like they couldn't win games with him because he turned over the ball 2 to 3 times a game.
No, and
it's just
that's
like,
why I'm concerned about Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Because Russell Wilson had a turnover issue last year. I mean, it
was
was
not
Actually, I
not
don't think
that
he did.
bad.
Yeah.
Like
No.
26 and 8 or something like that.
Yeah, I
No,
think his touchdown
okay.
interception ratio was actually like really good.
okay, but like it can be one
It could be.
because I've seen this is
So
the
can
thing.
Justin Fields.
No, so can Justin Fields. Yeah, obviously. But I think like even I saw it last year. Like when they played us on Monday Night Football, he didn't turn over the ball, and they scored 13 points that game and they won. You know, so like I think he understands his role. Where with Russell Wilson, I'm saying you're more susceptible to it just because he is the guy who's trying to make the home run splash play every single time. Justin Fields is just trying to make sure that he does everything right on every play, so he has another game to play the next week. You know.
I guess that's true.
That's right. Yeah, not statistically speaking, because Russ did improve last year from his first year, which that's why a lot of people were shocked that Denver even got rid of him. But I mean, in that aspect of things,
I think that's a thing that you mentioned about the mentality thing that's really hamstringing Justin Fields.
yeah, it is.
A good quarterback shouldn't be afraid to take risks.
Yeah,
But for someone who's like on such a fringe like Justin Fields, he doesn't want to make a mistake. And
Yeah.
that might prevent him from making big plays.
Exactly.
Or
Mhm.
throwing into tight
Good
windows
point.
because he doesn't trust himself.
right. But again, that's why I'm saying that type of mentality could almost be beneficial for a team aspect because again, they don't turn over the ball, they're gonna win games. So.
Dude, they went.
And they're gonna force turnovers.
No, yeah, they went basically 500 last year with Kenny Pickett, was
Mitch
Mitch
Trubisky,
Trubisky,
and Mason Rudolph.
Like,
Look, Mike Tomlin, Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a debate, but I think so.
No, I think so.
No,
He's
no,
got a
he's-
Super Bowl.
He's so
No,
good.
Mike
He goes
Tomlin is
500
solid,
every
yeah.
year. But the bad thing about him is that he goes 500 every year. They can't get top end talent
Yeah.
in the draft.
Well, I mean,
to
but-
help
but-
their
I mean,
team
but-
at all.
but look-
See,
but
again,
look at
that's
it,
the
like-
management thing again.
you really can't blame that on him. He's doing what he can do with the roster.
It's not his fault at all. I
No.
think they should get rid of Mike Tomlin.
You think this should be
Not
like a
because-
Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick?
Kind of like that. I don't think like he's
New
he's
age.
an amazing coach, but he's not helping this team progress to the next level because he's too good to take this garbage team to a team that barely misses the playoffs to get a 16th overall pick.
I mean,
DraftKings pick.
and that's the thing. Like, if they got a good quarterback, like this team could do crazy things.
Exactly, but you're not going to get one at like 18.
Well, okay, but that's interesting because again, I think that's a management thing because I think who knows how collaborative the coach and the GM are. That varies from organization to organization. But we've seen their willingness to trade up, with Mike Tomlin. I mean, we saw it when they went from 20 to 10 to get Devin Bush. So it's not. I mean, again, I don't know what the management situation is if that's a different guy compared to now. I'm pretty sure it is, but like.
Seahawks legend Devin Bush.
There's definitely willingness to pull the trigger and say, hey, let's move up because we really, really like this guy. So, I mean, I don't know why that conversation didn't come up in drafts prior. Maybe they were way too low and they didn't feel like, that's a whole different conversation. But again, Kenny Pickett wasn't. Kenny Pickett wasn't.
Well, I
a
mean,
great
that year,
decision.
like the fans were like, "You need to draft the quarterback. You need to draft the quarterback."
It was a good story.
Kenny
I think that was
Pickett
the right
was
pick.
probably the best. I mean,
That was the right pick.
at the time
Yeah.
was the best quarterback in that draft, and that's
that
sad,
that
but-
doesn't say much.
It's
Yeah.
hindsight, of course.
Yeah.
Like, in 2023 or whatever, if the Panthers were to go and pick C.J. Stroud over Bryce Young, people would be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
But now you-
well, not me, but
That. Well, hey, you know what Kenny Pickett is like? Kenny Pickett is like the Star Wars sequel trilogy. The story starts off really good, and then it's just like, what the hell are we doing?
All right, next.
Palpatine returns.
Yeah.
but-
So
I mean, that's basically everything I have from that game.
I don't know. It's disappointing, honestly. I was actually kind of looking forward to it, but also, fuck Kirk Cousins,
Yeah.
honestly. Okay, because
I
you
saw-
know
I
you
saw-
know
I
what
saw-
you know what just happened. You know what just happened as a Vikings fan. We just proved that Kirk Cousins was not helping us in the win-loss department, and that shouldn't have been a secret. Everyone knew that even beforehand. That he's not a winner. He's not a winner, and maybe that doesn't. It's not in part of the fact of how he plays, because performance-wise, he's actually not a bad quarterback. I would say he's like a B plus type of quarterback, but it's the money that he absorbs, and I saw it as a Vikings fan from our perspective. All the money that we have freed up now from Kirk Cousins, we have a more well-rounded team with what many people would say is a sufficiently less not as talented quarterback, and we won by 3 scores. I know it's the Giants, But what I'm saying is like this
It's the
team.
Giants.
It's the Giants.
It's the Giants.
No. Your win was inspiring. You know?
But
in contrast
okay,
to the Falcons game.
But look at it like this. In terms of offensive production and efficiency, I didn't see that much of a drop off, to be honest. Like
It's the Giants.
Sam
Yeah,
Darnold.
It's the Giants, and
But,
also
okay.
Andrew Van Ginkel had one of your touchdowns.
Yeah, Rip Van
He did.
Ginkel.
No, he did.
So-
But Vikings only had 41 offensive snaps. The typical number you're hitting is 60 in a game.
It's because of the Giants.
It's the Giants.
Well, yes, it is because of the Giants.
No.
Oh,
Hey,
well,
man.
Well, what I'm saying is Sam Darnold did what he had to do. He went 12
he
for
did.
he went
Exactly,
12 for 12 to start
exactly.
the game, and he didn't make any mistakes. Yes, he has an interception on the stat sheet, but someone hit his arm. and he was throwing it.
No.
So what
I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is like that's the thing. I think when you don't have the money to allocate to other places, and you're commanding the amount of money that you have. I mean, this is no secret. This is not just Kirk Cousins. This is any quarterback who doesn't necessarily elevate their team.
It's a quarterback pay issue now. You know, like
Yeah.
you said, that Kirk Cousins is a B+ quarterback. I think he's making B+ money. Like you have Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
who's
oh,
a
no,
B,
yeah,
B
yeah,
quarterback.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
making A+ money.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence sucks.
I mean, dude, you look at one of the best contracts in the sport right now with Patrick Mahomes,
Russell Wilson.
who is not getting paid as much as he should be.
But they're lucky. They're lucky because for one, you never see a contract at that duration, and
No.
he's not asking to restructure
No,
it. That is a unique player.
That's
right
what I'm
there.
saying. That's
What is
what
he?
I mean.
What's there to complain about?
And-
He's winning Super Bowls.
And that's
No,
what I'm saying.
okay, no, but for some people there would be something to complain about. Oh, now I am the 12th highest paid quarterback in the league.
No,
give
and
me
yeah.
more money. Kirk Cousins would definitely
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
He says he wants to win, but what does he want more than winning? The money. And whether he says that or not, it's evident with the contracts that he's gotten historically
Hey.
and the way that his team performs.
And look, at the end of the day, we're all humans. I don't blame the dude. If you
No,
want your,
I
you want your
don't
back,
either.
go
I
get
don't
your back.
either.
His agent's a god. But I mean, yeah, like I said, I mean, and I'm not saying like, yeah, it is because Patrick Mahomes is you know being nice to the team, and saying, hey, I don't want that money. But like that's what I'm saying. You know, you don't take as much money as he should be. You're able to put it to other parts of the team. You know, give Chris Jones his money, who's now the best defensive tackle in the league because Aaron Donald has retired. So it's, you know, the money can go elsewhere. And also with the Chiefs, they just draft exceptionally well. They can let a player like L'Jarius Sneed walk because their defense is just that good anyway.
Yeah.
But
You bring up an interesting point about the money and humans. You know, for us, we're like, stop being a diva, go play your game. But even for Brandon Ayuk, the difference between 30 and 35 million for 4 years, that's $20 million that you can set up your family, your kids, everything
Well,
like
okay,
that.
Brandon Ayuk is different because Brandon Ayuk was like, oh, I don't want to be here. And then he's like, oh, yeah, I do want to be here. And it's like, okay, wherever you were going, dude, you were going to get the money. You know what I mean? And like, really, how much more did he command from the 49ers? It was like $3 million. Like, okay, I understand. $3 million to the average person is a boatload of money. But not everyone is out there making $27 million. I understand, get as much as you can when you can. I understand what you're saying, but it's like, that dude caused way more. It's like Hassan Reddick. These two guys are complaining and causing more problems than there ever should be. And then the fact that he drops 2 passes last night doesn't
No, that's true.
help his
That was
image
a dot.
either.
That was a
Ayuk
dot
one,
by,
I think
Brock
I'm
Purdy.
understandable about because he's already established himself and everything. But like Jamar Chase, he's got 2 more years left on his rookie deal.
Yeah.
Just play your game, man.
that's just the way the game's going now. Everyone wants to get paid higher than the last person, you know what I'm saying?
Like, I understand that you want to stay healthy and like in case you get hurt in your contract year, that you don't get as much as you would. But just play your game. 2 years left on our rookie deal. He's
Yeah.
a few years older than we are.
I don't know if anyone's. I don't remember the last person who did get their thing.
And what, he's had
2 years
one
in
productive
advance.
season, one really good season,
Yeah, I mean,
maybe 2.
see, he's an all-pro potential player. Does he have an all-pro? He might have one, but I'm not even confident on
In
that.
a league with just Jefferson and Tyreek Hill and CeeDee
And,
Lamb.
well,
I
that's
don't
the
think
thing.
he's had
That's
that
the
good
thing.
of a
Jamar
season.
Chase is not. I mean, if you had to ask random people, you know, top 5 wide receivers, I feel like his name is not consistent
He
in that
probably wouldn't be
conversation
in my
either.
top 5.
And I don't
Who's
think that's
top 5?
absurd.
Oh,
Put him on spot.
Yeah, put it on spot. Hill, Jefferson, Lamb. I still love Devontae Adams, even though his
Okay.
quarterback situation's bad. And
Brown
Jake
Mooney?
Bobo,
Brown Mooney?
number 5.
Yeah.
Okay, realistic number 5. I'd put AJ Brown in there.
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
No.
Alec Pierce after week 1.
Give me a minute to think about that. Number 5.
No, come on.
Give me a minute.
Really?
He's not my type of wide receiver.
Bro, I would put him above Devontae Adams.
I mean, okay, think
Production-wise,
Think
I
about what he did in Tennessee after, and look what happened after he left, and then look at what happened to Jalen Hurts after AJ Brown came there. Like,
Yeah, I guess so.
substantially better.
Give me Cooper
Listen
Kupp.
to me right now.
Cooper Kupp. Hey,
No, wait. No. Actually, I was
but-
just about to say that. Listen to me right now. People are quick to forget of what type of player Cooper Kupp is, okay? And especially with Puka Nacua on IR, the production from, his all-pro season, his Offensive Player of the Year season, I mean, we could see the return of that. I mean, people are quick to forget that. I mean, he just didn't put that production up last year because he was hurt.
Yeah, hamstring injury.
Yeah, he had a hamstring injury, and then Puka Nacua was exceptionally well, overexceeded expectations by a bunch. So when Cooper Cup came back, you can't just stop giving Puka the ball. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean...
Exactly.
I know you're happy. You have him in fantasy, so...
Oh, yeah. But I knew Cooper Cup was going to come back and do this. There wasn't even a question in my mind about that. Anyone who was concerned about, Puka Nacua, he's going to get... No. This is the Cooper Cup show. And it's been that way for the last 5 years. And it should be. I mean, dude, the guy is the only receiver out there on the field. Yeah, I know Tyler Johnson made a few plays in that game. And I know Demarcus Robinson is slowly kind of coming back into his old form of being like that good complimentary receiver. But you say Elmo?
Hell no.
Oh, well, no, he kind of is. Demarcus Robinson was,
he was like
wide receiver 3 in Kansas City, and then he kind of just bounced around.
Well, I mean, Mahomes
after.
is his quarterback, so. But
well, yeah.
Mahomes made Byron Pringle look good.
Well, okay, but you also have the quarterback in Matthew Stafford, who, from the words of Chris Collinsworth, already made the throw of the year.
Yeah.
So, don't do that to Matthew Stafford.
I'll give it to week 3 and Mahomes makes a crazy play. Oh, what a play by Mahomes.
I think he brought up Mahomes in that game too.
He did.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, Cooper Kupp, okay, regardless of whoever's out there, who's throwing him the ball, he's gonna produce. And they always find ways to get him the ball. It wasn't pretty at the beginning of the game when he was just catching 5-yard hitch routes and getting tackled on the spot. But they're just gonna keep giving him the ball. Like, it's Cooper Kupp. And like you said, people forget how dominant this dude really was just a couple years ago. And comparison, not a Viking anymore, but a former Viking, Adam Thielen, like, these are guys who's like, I'm not worried about their age and, they're starting to slow down or do this and that. These guys are just smart players. They play the game the right way. They find the open spots in the zone, and that's how they've made a living this entire time. Yes, the run after catch numbers are going to probably dip a little bit, but it's not going to be so substantial where it's like, oh, this guy can't even be rostered anymore. Because I don't think a lot of people expected that from Adam Thielen last year. And he still went out and produced big time. I know that they didn't win games, but again,
he did what he could.
Yeah, the
But
part
even
of
are
his,
the Panthers, honestly, at this point? Do you
Trash.
think they're an NFL team, bro? Like,
Dude, it's actually insane. Okay, so one conversation I was having about this is that I think as time goes on, now, when I say that they're going to be better, that doesn't mean that they're going to win games. It just won't look as bad as a 37-point loss on opening day. But the one thing that everyone was concerned about with Carolina before the season started was the offensive line. Now, they went on and addressed that. If we're looking at these players on paper, they're not bad. These are good players who maybe they got more money than they should have, but that's what free agency is. Mm-hmm. But I think an overlooked aspect of the offensive line as a unit is just continuity. I think is really important because communication is essential. And I think we saw that lack of continuity, obviously with new players, but also the lack of communication and the lack of overall chemistry with these guys. This is the first time that they're all out there doing this together, and this is probably the most evident that you'll ever see it in the NFL. Why? Because Alontae Taylor had 3 sacks against them. A cornerback should not have 3 sacks against you. I don't care who it is. I mean, who's the best, like, blitzing DB, in history? Whoever that is.
It was Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams. Even he shouldn't have 3 sacks in a game. It just shouldn't happen, So I think as this team, with time, I think the offensive line will get better, and then we'll just see an overall better production from this team. Because I mean, you guys know my perspective. I'm huge on just building up front in the trenches. That's super important. So when you don't have that chemistry there, it was evident. Every gap was open. That's why Bryce Young was getting hit as soon as he touched the football, right? And there are so many other offensive lines where, like, they'll pick up those protections. The communication is down. It's not as obvious in those situations because when you hike the ball, your assumption is that everyone's going to do their job and pick up their responsibilities, and that's why I think that that's an overlooked aspect of that entire thing, because it wasn't like guys were just straight up getting beat one-on-one against their matchups on the offensive line. No, it was just like there's 2 guys on one guy, and then the tackle's not guarding anyone, and someone just ran straight through the B gap. It's like,
I do have a question though. Like,
yeah.
At what point do we look at Bryce Young and go, oh?
Well, it's tough because again, he has no time to throw. Okay, and with all due respect, Dave Canales should not be a head coach. He had one good coordinating year, right? I know what he did in Seattle as a quarterbacks coach. I know what he did for Baker in Tampa Bay. But, I mean, look at how Baker played last year. I mean, I thought Canales played a big part in that, but obviously not. Baker picked off right where he left off. You know what I'm saying? Picked up right where he left off. But Canales, why do you think he's the head coach of Carolina? Because no one else wanted to play for that team. Or a coach for that team, I'm sorry.
That's a 1-year job stint before you get fired.
Yeah, he's pretty much like David Culley right now, if anyone remembers that name. Yeah.
We actually remember
David Culley, the former wide receivers coach for the Baltimore Ravens, head coach of the Houston Texans.
The Texans. Oh my gosh.
And he was a coach.
He is the reason though that they have C.J. Stroud right now. I'm telling you.
That's right.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, no.
Wait, no.
That was Lovie Smith.
Lovie Smith. Yeah,
that was
never
Lovie
mind,
Smith.
never mind.
Yep, the Hail Mary from
Davis
Mills.
That is proves you that David Culley is like.
I mean, dude, he coached a wide receiver room that had no touchdowns in it.
Yeah.
How is that possible? Like, that's a free ride right there.
Because
Okay. Come on,
wait. One quick note before we wrap up. Riley Moss, the white cornerback. He's
breaking the color barrier.
He's getting a lot of heat right now because he let out 7 catches for 70-something yards against Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
He had a great game. Okay? Like 2 of those long catches were back shoulder, impossible to guard throws.
Well, that's because Tyler Lockett is just the most consistent receiver ever.
Exactly. So and Pat Surtain locked the hell out of DK Metcalf on the other side. And Riley Moss let up that one crossing route, for the 3rd and 6 for the Seahawks to secure the game. But he got a hand on it. You know how hard it is to guard a crossing route?
Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Be serious with me just for this moment, okay? Because I can't say it. But let the white guy say it. Should you draft a white cornerback?
No.
There you have it. Just don't do it. It's not going to work.
It's like, Tua is maybe, Tua and then, what's his name, Steve Young. But it's like drafting a left quarterback. It's like, 99% of the time, 99% of the time, it's probably not going to pan out, okay? So.
Boomer Esiason? Is he even left-handed?
Yeah, Boomer
I think he
Esiason.
is.
Yeah. Mike Vick.
Mike Vick?
Yeah.
But Mike Vick was actually a really decent thrower. That's an underrated part of his game. But like we talk about Mike Vick because he was the first quarterback to ever rush like he did.
Yeah.
He fought dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. He what dogs?
He fought dogs.
Oh, he fought dogs. I thought you said something.
Yes, kind of. Yes.
No.
But okay. I wanted to have this discussion with you guys. Is there anyone? Because I had a discussion with this one person. Is there anyone that is close to Sauce Gardner at the cornerback position? Like
PS2.
Okay, yeah. I said Patrick Surtain. What do you guys think about Trent McDuffie?
That's a different position.
Different
position. I think there's a clear designation between being a boundary corner and being a slot corner. The thing is I'm not saying either of them are easy, but boundary corner is easier than slot corner because slot corner, they can go left, they can go right, they can go vertical, whereas you can play the sideline as a boundary corner. Yeah. Not saying that's easier, but then also another important aspect of being a slot corner is run support. You got to be able to tackle out in space, in the open field. So I think that's huge too. Winning your block on a run responsibility is a lot more important than the boundary guy. The boundary guy can kind of sit there if he really wants to, do the Emmanuel Forbes. You know what I mean?
Blocked.
Yeah, exactly. But so I, to be honest, and you guys know I love Pat Surtain. I don't think it's close. I think it is clear cut. Sauce Gardner is number 1 because
he was locking up while you guys said that.
He was, and the thing is with Pat Surtain is every other corner, even Jalen Ramsey at this stage in Jalen Ramsey's career. He's going to give up a big play.
That's not fair for Jalen Ramsey, though.
Because, again,
Prime Jalen Ramsey?
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Prime Jalen Ramsey did not. And if he ever did, it was okay, what call did the ref miss for the OPI? You know what I'm saying? But with Sauce Gardner, dude, no one's getting away from Sauce Gardner. And that's a fact. Okay, I hate to always bring it back to my team, but when we played the Jets a couple years ago.
Oh, my.
Wait. Justin Jefferson, when he went up against Sauce Gardner, clamped. That's why we moved him to the other side because Jets play sides on their corners. We went to DJ Reed and just exploited the hell out of him.
Seahawks legend.
But we stay away from Sauce Gardner, and every other team should too.
Edo Smith.
Hey, well, I will say though, Derek Stingley, I think he can get to that.
Derek Stingley is solid.
Hey, that's gonna be tough.
Do you
though.
really not think it's close to PS2?
Okay, it's
I think
look at
it's
it like
1-2.
this. It's 1, and then 2 is kind of down here.
And then in the middle is Mike Hughes.
Mike Hughes.
Bro, he's actually solid.
Okay,
Bro.
Mike Hughes is solid. Mike
Roads
Hughes
are
is
closed.
solid.
Bro,
Roads are closed.
I'm not joking right now. Okay. Obviously, I'm joking about that, but like, dude, Mike Hughes like actually played like really well.
No, Mike Hughes is solid. Mike Hughes is
I'm
solid.
saying our quarterback room is actually like pretty solid.
Yeah, no,
that
he's-
brings us back to our defense. Our defense is just solid.
But if we're talking
he's
best
gotten
duo,
better.
you know, it's Spoon and Woolen.
Ooh, that's a good discussion. I can just see Tariq Woolen picking up. Oh no! And then he picks it up. I saw that video so many times. Best duo in the league. I mean, honestly, that's a good
It's
one.
Spoon.
Probably James Bradbury and.
I know, and I would say like
Cam
I would say you even have to put in what you call Sauce Gardner, DJ. Like, DJ
Oh, yeah.
DJ Reed's not a slump.
DJ
DJ Reed
DJ
makes
Reed
his,
ain't-
he
yeah.
makes his fair share of plays.
Yeah.
I
Also,
mean, when you compare him to Sauce, it's like okay, but like
Shaquille Griffin.
he ain't a slot.
hey, but you want to talk
Whoever's on the other side.
Oh,
you want to talk about a good quality slot corner too. Michael Carter's
That's
really
true.
good.
Oh,
on
also-
the
Also,
outside.
I wanted to say this because you brought up Derek Stingley.
Yeah.
Jeff Okudah, bro. I'm sorry.
Come
Jeff Okudah's solid.
Probably
bro.
up for the
Okay,
year.
yeah, but Jeff Okudah should be solid. He was a number 3.
And what
pick at
about
one
Kamari
point.
Lassiter?
Kamari
bro?
Lassiter.
Oh yeah,
Desmond
Kamari
King.
Lassiter. Desmond King. Desmond King.
Is he even on
No,
that
he
team?
got cut for Kamari
Yeah, I was
Lassiter.
like, bro, get out of here,
Hey,
bro.
I saw Okudah left with hip injury. Is he out for the year?
Oh, I don't think so.
We'll
Not from
He
my
probably would have got
understanding.
announced if he was.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, anything you guys want to wrap it up on? I feel.
Oh, how was Stephon Gilmore, by the way, man? I mean, I know he's Daniel Jones throwing the ball, but you know.
I mean, honestly, nothing really noticeable. I mean, he got beat one time in man coverage against Malik Neighbors, but honestly, can't believe I'm saying this. It was a great throw by Daniel Jones. Like it was like only Malik Neighbors.
No, because like the talent is actually there, you know, with Daniel Jones. Is you know. Does that sound like you?
You got the brain shaker.
Whenever
effect, man.
we talk about Zach Wilson, the talent is there, man. I mean, like, the talent is there.
It is. I think
No,
it's like
Daniel
Justin
Jones.
Fields.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. I will say this. I don't think
Actually,
that like
big
it's really
ass nose.
close. I don't think it's really close. You're a dick. I don't think it's really close, but you know, your Trevor Lawrence take. You know, he's not really winning games, so I'm not saying that the
Okay.
It's early. It's way
game,
too early.
The game wasn't his fault on Sunday. Like if you actually watch the game,
It
like,
also was
like
his
like
fault.
the turning point of the game was when Travis Etienne fumbled on like the 2-yard line. Like, that was like
Yes.
that was like the turning
Okay.
point of the game.
Wait. Because I pointed this out in our group chat because I went back and I watched. That game was not on Trevor Lawrence at all. Because,
No, it wasn't.
because for one, the ETN fumble, like you said,
Yeah,
that
and
was
then
the biggest momentum.
3 plays later, Tyreek Hill had like an 80-yard touchdown.
Right,
It's like,
right. That is crazy,
Yeah.
crazy momentum swing. But then you also have 2 4th downs that were not converted because your running back and your offensive line were not in sync. Which again, if Trevor Lawrence has the ball in his hand in that situation and they don't convert, it's a different story. But you don't put the ball in the hands of your $60 million quarterback, even on a 4th and 1. You fail to convert both
They don't
times.
trust him.
Huh?
They don't trust him because he sucks.
no, it's because Travis Etienne.
But they should.
No,
because
because Travis Etienne's a good running back, and you would hope that
But
your
their
running
O
back
line
could
is
get a
trash.
winner.
Their O line is trash. Okay.
Oh,
And-
what's his name? Is Brian Thomas?
Ben Barch.
Oh yeah, Brian Thomas. Yeah.
That was an
This-
absolute dime, by the way. His touchdown to Brian
that's-
Thomas.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Bro, that
Trevor
was a
Lawrence
dog.
makes throws that.
Like the talent is there, he just can't put it together, you know.
But it's not his fault. There was another 3rd down
Was he in the right
conversion late in the game. It was an out route to Christian Kirk on a 3rd and 5, and Kirk dropped it right on the money.
I understand. Okay, I
So,
understand.
no,
His
that-
team didn't help him at all.
That's what I'm saying.
But you
and
hold
it's
the-
been like that his entire
You
career.
hold the Dolphins to 17 points and you throw for 160 yards.
Okay,
Can you not help
but-
your team out a little more?
Okay, but again, does he have a reliable number 1 receiver that can win on a play-to-play basis? He doesn't, and he's never had one.
Probably not. He played like Kirk. Full circle. He played like Kirk Cousins. They both lost.
Sorry,
I
guys.
mean-
I'm just thinking about the Will Levis. You know.
No, okay.
That sucks. He was playing such a good
What
game, too.
No,
I'm
he
saying, all I'm saying is like
I mean,
Before that.
he has a below average offensive line. He has that's the thing too. Like, oh wow, they brought in Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis has how many 0 reception, 0-yard games in his career? Like, he does that too. So he's not consistent. Brian Thomas, we don't know yet. It's still too early to tell. And Christian Kirk is a great slot receiver. But I mean, like, that's only gonna do so much. You know what I mean?
Really, the only help on offense, like the major help on offense he has is Etienne. Etienne's a star
Yeah.
right now. But
He's-
look, Etienne fumbled at the 2-yard line. Like, so it's like great play by John Holland, by the way.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot like with the Jaguars approach, and we saw this, and it's reflected by their Trevon Walker pick. They always go for the guys who they feel like have the potential.
Okay, but low-key
But-
Javon Walker is actually like.
Oh no!
Bro, like,
No,
I don't know if you
I'm-
actually you did watch the
No,
game,
I
right?
did.
Bro,
He played better than Josh Allen.
Bro, no, yeah,
yesterday.
Trevon Walker is.
Joshua Hines.
Yes.
Yes.
Who the
Sure,
hell
that's
is
Josh
That one
Allen.
play where I think he was getting like double team or triple team, and he was able to like get crazy.
No,
But
yeah. But what I'm saying is that's why they do it, and it can pay off. But when it doesn't, with guy like they brought in guys like Walker Little from Stanford, tremendous prospect at Stanford. He's average. Jawan Taylor, who fell in the draft. I know he's not on the team anymore. Didn't really work out. Ezra Cleveland, who they traded for from the Vikings. A lot of people said he still had potential as a guard. He's not that good. He's not that good.
Do they still got Andrew Norwell?
So I'm saying,
is he in the league?
I don't know. But either way, it's not good. It's not good.
I guess.
So I'm just saying, like, until he gets a support staff, we've seen the talent on display, but until he gets, like, prominent players at pretty much every other position on that team, I don't think it's fair to make a real solidified, judgment on Trevor.
That's true. And in the grand scheme of things, it's only his, fourth year?
Yeah. It really is.
It's still so early.
That first year did not count, man.
Maybe even if he didn't.
Urban Meyer's.
Oh, yeah. Sorry to cut you off. But that's another good point. A lot of guys, after a catastrophic start to their career like that, cannot recover from something like that. Because their development is just so messed up at that point. I mean, and you might not believe me, but I mean, look at every Jets quarterback in recent history, right? They cannot recover from it. So it's just like, the fact that he can still play at the level that he's playing, it's not an excuse for Trevor Lawrence, but a lot of guys just unravel from that point on. And I think his mental strength and his ability to just recover from that and then still go back to his old form at Clemson, and he's an even better quarterback from when he first got drafted, obviously. Like, I think there's still a chance with him. But it's up to the organization to get the potential out of the guys that they draft, which Brian Thomas, I think, is a good start.
All right, one final question I want to ask you guys before we wrap up.
I have a segment after, but go.
Of all the rookie quarterbacks that played this week, who do you think looked the best and looked the most pro ready?
That's a great question. Because truthfully, statistically, I think Jaden Daniels played the best. Statistically, I did not watch the game, so I cannot make a fair evaluation on that.
He's fast.
I mean, I guess that really limits my options. I guess from what I've watched, I'll say Caleb Williams. I think, well, okay. I either have to choose Caleb Williams or Bo Nix. Because truthfully, I watched 2 out of the 3 games with the rookies, and just so happened Jaden Daniels was not one of them. So I think with Caleb Williams, I think he just needs to get acclimated to the speed of the game. We saw that because he thought he could outrun that massive dude up the middle. I don't know who that was, but I was like, God damn, like that's scary. And I don't think Caleb Williams has ever seen anything like that. But as long as he focuses more on the playbook instead of painting his nails, I think he'll be all right.
I will say this about Caleb Williams, though. Keenan Allen did drop a touchdown pass.
Oh, yeah, and that was a great throw.
Yeah.
I mean, hitting an out route is not easy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's who I'll go with there.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to go with Bo Nix because I watched the whole game.
Really?
He looked good. Statistically, he's not good. But
I don't think
he had a bad receiving core. His offensive line was terrible. He was under pressure all the time. He was quick when he was scrambling, and he was very good at improvising plays. Like there was one play where he got pushed out of the pocket, pump fake, and then threw it across his body to the middle to a wide open. I think Sutton, and he just looked. It looked like someone who knew what he was doing.
Well, I mean, that was the thing that people liked about him, right?
Too bad we're on clamps, but
I mean, to be honest, I don't like Bo Nix, and I think early on, I think it's pretty much reflecting everything that I thought about him. I mean, like, I don't know if you saw the stat that came out about him, and it was evident as I was watching the game too, because a lot of the stuff is like quick throws, really short passes, let the receivers make plays. He went 2 for 12 on passes over 10 air yards. That's terrible, and 2 of them were interceptions.
I think of all the rookie quarterbacks in this draft, he's the least boomer bust, but I think he has the highest floor.
He has the high. Yes.
I think he's going to be an NFL quarterback.
But that's the thing too. I'm not a huge fan of the highest floor guys because that means nothing to me, right? How you start it's irrelevant to how your career ends up finishing.
Yeah, I know it's so early, but I think Bo Nix is not their franchise guy. But I think he'll be a starter for a little bit, and if not a starter, he'll be in the league for a while.
No, okay, you're right, because I think the things that he put on display, like the arm talent's there, and I think the mobility, the improvising, like that's all there, and that, yes, I agree, that'll keep him in the league. But I just think like if you cannot push the ball downfield, and I know it's only one game, but we saw him struggle to do that at Auburn. Hence why he transferred, went to a favorable system in Oregon, and people realized, okay, hey, there is a system out there for Bo Nix to be successful. He understands his offense, and he can execute it at a high level. But this is the NFL. If you cannot push the ball downfield, you ain't going to make it. You ain't gonna make it. And that's why that's so concerning to me. Now, luckily for him, he went to the one team out of the 32 that everyone almost unanimously felt like, hey, this could be the way, the place that he succeeds. But, yeah, I mean, That's concerning.
Of course I saw.
That's concerning. Just
He
it's
old, man.
It's a passing league. You have to push it downfield, and Bo Nix cannot do that. That's where I stand on
Yeah.
that. All right, what's your final discussion?
I
Oh,
was
sorry,
just-
sorry.
oh yeah, I mean, I didn't really watch all of them, so I'll just go with Jaden Daniels. I mean, he scored the most points for his team, so I'll just go with that pick. But I was gonna ask, like, what are you guys most looking forward to in week 2?
Ooh, Seahawks crushing down the Patriots.
Nice. Oh yeah, by the way, great win for the Patriots, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, here's the Bengals again, starting off slow as usual, which I understand Joe Burrow, injury history, but he never seems prepared for week 1. And in the AFC, where home field advantage low-key does make a difference, week 1 matters just as much as week 18. So that's how I view that. But, see, I should be saying I'm most excited for my game too, but we might get railed. I mean...
Yeah, no worry, man. Same.
I mean...
Yeah.
Hey, shout out Keon White, man. He had a great week. 2.5 sacks, fumble.
I don't know, what am I most excited for this week? I mean, honestly, look, boring answer, I'm just still excited that football's back, okay? I'm watching every game. I'm not leaving the house Saturday or Sunday because...
College football's the best. College football's better, but you know.
That is a video for another day.
Yeah. Have fun cheering on kids that are younger than you, man.
Whoa.
That's
Whoa.
crazy.
Whoa. All right, yeah, this is week 2 of the Football Threesome. Again, name brought to you by Chris and his creativity. I'm not editing this out again, so yes, I am hitting the end record button.
Hopefully Kirk Cousins is good. Please.
Yeah. Peace.
Very good.